Welcome to my lightning talk on data harvesting from liturgy. By liturgy, I mean the poems, the songs, the verses that poets sang to their gods as means of worship or offering. And the specific liturgy that I'm referring to here is the Vedic corpus, the four Vedas, and the verses in the Vedas. This is about my journey. This is about my experience while trying to build an API around the Vedas, the Vedic text, the Vedic corpus. Why did I want to build an API? Because it wasn't there. Like Kenzie mentioned yesterday in her session, there are several types of people, and I'm a turnip. I like to explore. I like to know more about stuff. So when somebody comes back and tells me, hey, this was there in the Vedas, or hey, this was not there in the Vedas, I need data to back those claims up. And since data wasn't readily available, I wanted to create an API. Now the thing is, this entire Vedic corpus is in text format. Text is not very easy to parse quickly or to query or to manipulate programmatically to get insights from. So what I did was I asked myself, is there a basic common structure in this entire corpus? I realized there was. Every verse in the Vedas is addressed to a god, is written by a poet, and is sung in a specific meter. So there is this commonality. I started with that. I put this entire thing into a spreadsheet. I uploaded the spreadsheet into an online service that would convert it into an API, and I queried the data. The results that came back were pretty interesting. I asked how many books were there in the Rig Veda. These are the number of books. Then there is this thing that people often go around saying that there were women poets in the Vedic times. They sang, they composed verses, etc. Women were held in high esteem, blah, blah. But then again, me, the skeptic, I'll always say, show me the data. This is the data. You can see the number of verses composed by women poets and compare them to the number of actual verses present in the Vedas. More data. Who were the gods that the poets were singing to? You can see that almost one-third, a little more than one-third of that pie is cornered by four gods. And the interesting thing is that none of these gods are actually actively worshipped today in the Hindu religion. So this also kind of gives us an idea about the evolution of the religion. Who was important back then? Who is important now? It's an interesting field to study. More insights. When you have data from text and when you kind of put it in a queryable in a format that is easy to query, you can draw parallels and comparisons between similar text. Now, what you see on the screen right now is a comparison between the weapons used in the Mahabharata, which is an epic written a little after the Vedas were composed, and the charms and curses and spells in the Harry Potter series. So the point I'm trying to make here is text data is not very amenable to what you call to analysis unless it is in some format that can be queried, compared, presented in a visually appealing manner. So that was my lightning talk. My experiments around structuring unstructurable text data and presenting them in a more visual format is at these two websites. And I'm actually interested in hearing more about how you go about dealing with large volumes of text that might need analysis. I mean, right now, my data, for example, is in JSON format, whether it's better to use a SQL database. Now, I'm using, for example, REST APIs, whether it is better to use GraphQL. I'm interested in hearing your points of, I mean, your view on or your experiments with on these things, if you've dealt with. I mean, if you have ever, if you're trying to, or you have worked with text data and analyzed text data. So that was my lightning talk, and thank you for listening.